Alright, what's up folks? Today we will be watching The Rings of Power. Apparently it's made by Amazon nowadays. It came out August 2031. I believe that's August 31. And at the recording of this video, today is September 5. So it's right here. Amazon on Amazon Prime. What I will be doing is I will watch the first episode, second episode, and the following episodes after that and see and compare it to how faithful it is to the actual books themselves written by Tolkien from the Silmarillion. And also I would like to say that I am not a very... I do like Tolkien's books. I've read it thanks to Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. That's where this all started. I do have my collection of books. I have the Silmarillion and the 3 books in that book, which is Children of Húrin, The Fall of Gondolin, and The Beren and Luthien. And after that I have The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and David Day's Encyclopedia. But still, I believe that there are far more really good people out there on YouTube who have more in-depth knowledge as to Tolkien's lore is. And my memory of Tolkien's books are quite fickle and vague, since I've finished reading the entire books just last year. So yeah, before we start, let's check out the characters over here. Obviously, start off with the elves. We have the main character Galadriel over here. Elrond, yes. Arondir, not really sure who Arondir is. Celebrimbor. Oh, thought the elves were immortal, but this guy look old, really old. And he should have really long hair, because that's how the elves are. And the Gil-galad, okay. Strange hairline, but okay. Númenóreans, we have Queen Regent Miriel. She was supposed to be the ruler of Númenor, but Ar-Pharazôn married her instead. So Ar-Pharazôn became the ruler of Númenor during that time. So Miriel, Elendil, Pharazôn, Arryn, Elendil's sister, alright. We have Isildur, Kemen. Not really sure who this is. Okay, we have Southlanders, we have Bronwyn, Halbrand, and Theo. I'm not really sure what Theo is. It looks like their version of a hobbit, maybe? I'm not really sure. Halbrand looks like he's I believe the Rohirrim wasn't present. No, it's Southland. So this is probably close to around Gondor. Harfoots, hobbits. Eleanor Nori, Brandyfoot, Hoppy Proudfellow, Brandyfoot. Sabak Burrows, alright. These are the hobbits. Dwarves. Prince Durin IV and Prince Disa. Okay. Well, might as well watch it now. As I'm recording, maybe I'll have to like edit this out once I see something in the films which is correlating to the books. But before I start, I would like to show the books as proof. Alright, I got a lot of books here. It's quite heavy. Yeah. So obviously we start off with the first one, the Silmarillion. Got this one on Amazon. This is where all things started. It's the very beginning. Silmarillion, we have okay, a lot of books here, other books. So Silmarillion, Beren and Luthien, really nice books. I love these ones. The Fall of Gondolin. Children of Húrin. Yes. Children of Húrin. So that's all in the first age. And also the Unfinished Tales. Unfinished Tales. Complete set. And what else? I have this whole set from Amazon as well. The Hobbit. Read this one. Finished reading this one last year. So we got The Hobbit. We got Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King. That's a whole box set of books. And the Book of Lost Tales. Part 1. And the Book of Lost Tales Part 2. Part 2. Part 1. Also, I have an encyclopedia. David Day's Encyclopedia of Tolkien. God, I love this book. It's so cool too. Look at that. Woo! This is definitely a worth it investment for me because I like lore. I like fantasy like these. They're really cool. Hopefully, maybe I'll read. What was his name? Martin. R. Martin. Lots of books.
And there was a time when the world was so young, there had not yet been a sunrise. But even then, there was light.
When Galadriel says there was light, probably she is trying to mention the flames of Aya, which is what Morgoth was looking for during the First Age, which Ilúvatar actually placed in Middle-earth. So basically Morgoth can't get it. That's probably what she's trying to mention here. I'm not really sure if that's accurate or not. Maybe some of you guys are watching this video and saying maybe what I said here is wrong. And try commenting on the section down there if I'm wrong or I'm right. Or maybe it's not. Maybe I'm trying to remember this wrong. I don't know. I think Galadriel's brother would have to be, if I recall this one right, Finrod. Has to be Finrod, right? So I believe both Finrod, Galadriel, and there was another guy, another brother, be the children of Finarfin, because Feanor, his father was Finwë, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, Finrod's hairstyle isn't lore accurate. You know, most elves have almost all elves have really long hair. His hairstyle, it's like they have a barber here. They do have a barber. Usually they don't cut their hairs. Maybe they trim it. I'm not really sure how. Pretty sure Tolkien elves have all of them just really long hair in general. Not this sort of hairstyle. But okay.
We thought our light would never dim.
Okay, this is very important. These are the two trees, Lorelin and Telperion. These were planted after Morgoth himself destroyed both the lamps in the north and the south. I'm not sure what the other... One of the lamps was called the Ringil, which was in an icy place. Up north, perhaps. I'm not sure what the southern lamp was called, I forgot. But I know that probably the northern lamp, which gave light, was Ringil. And that was also the name of Fingolfin's sword, Ringil, which he used to fight Morgoth during the First Age. But yeah, look at that. The trees are amazing. They look beautiful.
So when the great foe Morgoth destroyed the very light of our home, we resisted.
It wasn't only Morgoth, he was the main reason that the two trees were destroyed, but it was actually Shelob, yeah, the spider of the void, who managed to destroy the two trees because she sucked the life out of them, and the poison. The two trees were basically poisoned from the root to limb, if I recall correctly. So after the deaths of the two trees, they weren't able to capture both Morgoth and Shelob. They managed to escape. At the same time, trying to escape, Morgoth had the 3 Silmarils with him and some treasures, and the Shelob wanted these ones. And in the middle of escaping to the north, to Angband, Shelob demanded her reward. Morgoth didn't want to give it to her, so Shelob binded him with her webs, I think. And then Morgoth screamed, and his Balrogs heard him, and they came to his aid. That's at least what I remember. And I believe the place was called was it the Firth of Drengist? I believe it was the Firth of Drengist. Also, the Firth of Drengist is where the Noldor managed to first land in Middle-earth, if I'm not mistaken. So before Morgoth destroyed the two trees, he first went to Formenos, the fort where Finwë and Feanor were banished. I believe these were the 7 brothers, the children of Feanor and Feanor himself. Maybe one of them is Feanor. Basically, they made an oath to actually get the Silmarils back. It was a dangerous oath.
Legion of elves went to war.
Not all the elves went to war, it's only the Noldor. There's a legion of elves, so it's only the Noldor. Only the Noldor elves. And also the Noldor, in the first age, you see these ships? It's highly likely that these ships were from the havens of Alcolond. Basically, it's not the Noldor elves who made these ships. It's highly... if it's lore accurate, it should be the elves of... not Alcolond. Yeah, Alcolond. What were the elves called there? Okay, here it is, the kinslaying of Alcolond. So basically, the Teleri elves own these ships. And so the Noldor, going at the havens, wanted to actually take these ships. But the Teleri elves refused, so therefore the Noldor had no choice but to take it by force. So they had to... There was a great battle. And, well, obviously the Noldor won. They had the greater number. That's what they call the kinslaying of Alcolond was in the book. Wait. That looks like... This is strange. This looks like the Fell Beast. On the Lord of the Rings, the Fell Beast, which was being used by the Witch King of Angmar, and that seems to be an eagle. Rarely the eagle went into battle because they want to keep to their own. They had their own politics to begin with, the eagles. Led by their lord Torondor, I think his name was. This is probably the Near Night. This is probably the Near Night Arnoediad. Is it? It kind of looks like the Near Night Arnoediad because this is what the orcs did. They piled up the armors on a mount and the bodies of the fallen elves. So basically, the Near Night Arnoediad was during the first age, where Morgoth won the entire, in a decisive manner. Morgoth won in many ways. He managed to estrange men from elves and corrupt some of the men, which were the Easterlings. So how the Near Night started was Maedhros wanted to form a league to contain Angband with a huge army. The armies of his brothers, his 7 brothers, and then obviously they wanted to take Angband with the hammer and anvil tactic, which is to lure out most of Morgoth's forces into the open field of Anfaulit and destroy it there. But what happened was on the eastern side, where Felagund was leading his army with Turgon, one of his lieutenants saw a relative elf of his being slaughtered in front of his eyes, and with that he managed to charge ahead, and the entire host of the Noldor elves just charged on ahead. But this was against the advice of Húrin at the time, since Húrin was he already knows as a human, he already knows the tactics of Morgoth. But again, at the 3rd and the 4th days of the battle, that's where the Nirnaeth Arnoedi had managed to start, where their losses are basically now countless. The elves did manage to actually almost, from the Eastern Elves to the Western Elves, which are the Western Elves, the Eastern Elves, which was being the Eastern Army, and the Western Army managed to almost connect. I wasn't able to because of the Balrogs. They formed a wedge, and here Felagund died. Felagund, because he got caught by another Balrog, and Gottmog killed Felagund. But if this is the Nirnaeth, this kind of looks like to me the Nirnaeth Arnoediad. But I don't want to get into the in-depth of the Nirnaeth Arnoediad. I believe the reason why Sauron was great at crafting things was he was firstly a servant of Auli. Auli is basically the Valar of, basically you compare it to other gods in like, he's basically the Valar of craftsmanship, of smithing or something like that. The elves are quite resilient when it comes to the elements. That's how Ilúvatar made them. That's why over here you can see that they're not really wearing any heavy gear towards against the winter, against the blizzard. Also, they're light-footed. I expected Galadriel to be a powerful sorceress, She could easily, I'd say, deatomize you with a flick of her fingers. She doesn't need a sword or armor, she's already that powerful. For me at least. That's how in the books I was shown, but Amazon's trying to show her like this, that's okay as well. I mean, adaptation is adaptation, and the book is the book. I think folks should read the book. Yeah, I recommend reading the book.
Don't you think it's the least bit strange?
World's strange. If a little pitch kettle me.
Not sure what these guys are supposed to be. Are they supposed to be hobbits? Not sure if these guys are supposed to be hobbits. But Rovanion, I remember reading somewhere that the hobbits immigrated from the east to the west, from Rovanion to the Misty Mountains, and settling somewhere in Arnor in Eriador. Regarding him opening a book, I believe the halflings didn't really start recording any of their history nor any dates after they've actually arrived they pretty much settled in the Shire, and they have their own calendar as well. That's the only time that they actually started writing their own history. That's why they always say in the Lord of the Rings, Shire Reckoning, SR. Sometimes you can see it on the dates when reading the book. SR means Shire Reckoning.
The last time we had travellers this early, it was the Great Frost. And there's no misremembering how bleak a season that was.
The Great Frost. The Great Frost was recorded in the... I remember reading this one in the Lord of the Rings as well. The Great Frost. I know, no, not the Lord of the Rings, but one of the books. Lord of the Rings. Basically, the Great Frost was everything was on ice. There was a famine. The hobbits did manage to make it.
What tidings?
The council regrets to inform you, you won't be permitted to attend the next session. Elf Lords only.
Elrond should be an Elf Lord, because he is, after all, a half-elven, and his brother, Elrohir. Well, no, not Elrohir. That's one of Elrond's son. Elrond and Elros. Yeah, Elros. Tar-Minastir was the very first king, was the very first ruler of Numenor. They're both half-elven. Elrond remained with his elven kin, and Elros remained with his human kin. He was, after all, granted a long life, as the Numenorians were.
It was the only feeling I knew.
And look at you now. Commander of the Northern Armies, warrior of the Wastelands. I half expected you to arrive king.
Elrond should have been the commander. After all, he was sent by Gil-galad to aid in Eregion during Sauron's war in Eregion. But he didn't make it. Spoiler. He didn't make it to aid Celebrimbor. Celebrimbor died. Spoiler alert.
Why, Elrond? You really have become a politician.
You make it sound so grim.
Politician? He was never a politician to begin with. Elrond was never a politician to begin with. He was never a politician. He led his people. That was what he was doing. He was a lore master of his people. He was a warrior and a commander. That's what Elrond was.
So I will be equally plain.
Also in the lore, as Sauron was making in his war in Eregion, the peoples of Galadriel managed to retreat east of the Misty Mountains. Basically, she traveled east and managed to find her land, which is Lorien. Oh, she was one of the last elves who managed to actually cross through the Misty Mountains through the passage. What was that again? Where the Fellowship also went during the Lord of the Rings. That passage. In Khazad-dûm, the Misty Mountains. Also, the gate was made by Celebrimbor as well.
Elves have forests to protect, dwarfs their mines, mend their fields of grain. Even trees have to worry about the soil beneath their roots. But we Harfoots are free from the worries of the wide world. We are but ripples in a long, long stream. Our path set by the passing seasons. Nobody goes off trail and nobody walks alone. We have each other. We're safe.
I mean, that is technically true. Not a lot of hobbits like to travel. Only a select few. One of them would have to be Bilbo and Frodo. They only travel, I believe, unless they have to, I suppose. Gil-galad. Does he not look like he has a mullet? Oh my.
I remember when the first of these were carved. The likeness of one fallen preserved upon a living thing. I suppose some part of me always believed my rest would be here.
I mean, the elves don't technically die. They're all gathered in the halls of Mandos. When the world ends, the Hall of Mandos will be reopened. Technically, these elves stay there and then, you know, get re-embodied. If I remember correctly.
My brother gave his life hunting Sauron. His task is now...
Wait, hunting? No, they did not hunt Sauron. They did not hunt Sauron, okay? Again, Finrod actually did not die at the Nirnaeth, I remember now. I think that was hiking Fingon? That fell during the Nirnaeth. And then after his death, Finrod became the next High King. Was he the next High King? I'm not sure, but he ruled Nargothrond. And what was his name? Ah, yes, Beren. With the retreat of the elves during that time. So technically, if I remember correctly, Fingon fell, his army was decimated. What is left of it was being now led by Finrod. They retreated. Turgon's army retreated with the help of Húrin, which held the enemy. Then there was Barahir. Barahir also managed to survive the Nirnaeth Arnuiniad, his son. Now Barahir became an outlaw, and his son, Beren, went to Doriath, met Lúthien, but wasn't able to take her hand. So Lúthien's father, Thingol, asked for the 3 Silmarils. Obviously, Beren accepted and started going north to Angband on Morgoth's fortress. But he couldn't. It's a long story, I don't want to say it here. But anyway, he asked Finrod for help, and Finrod proudly obliged, since he and his company was saved by Barahir, Beren's father. As a token to prove that Beren was the son of Barahir, he had the Ring of Barahir with him. So that was the proof, and I believe he was with... I'm not sure how many warriors were there, but they did travel, going to Taur in Garhut, the Isle of Werewolves, which was basically being overseer. The leader of that place was Sauron currently, and he managed to see a traveling company of Beren and Finrod, and they were all, of course, captured. And Finrod and Sauron had like a battle of song, and Finrod was defeated when Sauron started singing of the kinslaying of Alcolond, and they were imprisoned. That's where one by one each of the prisoners were eaten by a werewolf. Again, at the time, Sauron had the power to transform into a werewolf. Last of the werewolf's victims was Finrod. But Finrod also managed to kill the werewolf, saving Beren in the process, because the werewolf was wanting to eat Beren first. At the same time, well, Finrod died, Beren was left alone. Lúthien came to his aid with the wolf of Valinor called Huan. And it's prophesied that Huan can only be killed by... what was the prophecy again? By a wolf of immeasurable power? I don't remember, but Huan was killed by Harkarot. So Huan, Sauron, knowing the prophecy, he transformed himself into a very powerful werewolf. But even then, He wasn't powerful enough to actually defeat Huan. So Huan beat the ever-living shit out of Sauron. And Sauron flew to Angband like a little bitch that he was. That's what I remember, at least. Oh god. That's what I legit remember reading the books. But again, Galadriel, they weren't hunting Sauron per se. Finrod was helping Beren with his quest. So this tidbit where they were hunting Sauron is inaccurate and not part of Tolkien's lore. They were not hunting for Sauron. Finrod was helping Beren. Arondir, an elf. Some modern looking hairstyle, but okay. Modern looking hairstyle. Look at that hairstyle. Look at that. Very, very modern. Very modern hairstyle, you know. The least they could do is probably... Yes, elves have long hair, man. Elves have long hair, okay. That's Tolkien lore. I mean, they could give him dreadlocks. I mean, that would have been... That is technically, if longer dreadlocks would have been considered long hair as well. But okay. And this is not Tolkien accurate, lore accurate in the books.
Halfling seeds.
Oh, it says right here. A. It even shows the picture, Alfirin. To the elves, the Alfirin flowers were like the great gold bell of Valinor in miniature. Ah. Alfirin, an often white bell-like flower of Middle-earth, known for blooming profusely about the tombs of men. To the men of Rohan, it is Symbolmine, or Evermind, while its elvish name Alfirin means immortal, both names suggesting its association with commemoration of the dead. As a flower, Tolkien himself compared it to the anemone, which the ancient Greeks associated with mourning, when the goddess of love, Aphrodite, wept over the grave of her lover Adonis. Her tears turned into anemones. Ah, so I keep the encyclopedia with me. Keep that right there.
My point is this. Only twice in known history has a pairing between elves and humans even been attempted, and on each occasion, it ended in tragedy.
Thor and Celebrimbor, and Beren and Luthien. Yeah, Thor and Celebrimbor in the first stage, and Beren and Luthien. Yeah, those are the first two. It didn't necessarily end in that.
Because I've grown accustomed to it.
And you believe this place was once a barren scrap of rock?
It has changed much, Watchwater.
But the men who live here have not. The blood of those who stood with Morgoth still darkens their veins.
Oh yes, because the Easterlings actually betrayed their elven allies. One of them was Uldor the Accursed, I believe, if I remember his name correctly.
Then the shadow she sought. You believe it does exist?
Set your mind at peace about it. What you did was right. For Galadriel and for Middle-earth.
It's not like the elves were idle during this age as well. I mean, they were still pretty much vigilant when it comes to... They weren't necessarily hunting Sauron. They were still vigilant as to what threats might still exist in Middle-earth. They weren't that complacent or anything.
Of Lord Celebrimbor.
The greatest of elven smiths, of course.
Yes, the greatest of elven smiths, Celebrimbor, is actually is actually a Feanorian. I'm not sure who his father was. Celebrimbor. Ah, son of Corufin. Not Caranthir, Corufin. Yeah, he's a grandson of Feanor. grandson of Feanor. An older prince, the son of Corufin and grandson of Feanor, the creator of the Silmarils in the Second Age, he becomes Lord of Gwaith-i-Mir-Dain, the elven smiths of Eregion. Celebrimbor looks old. It's almost as if he's not an elf. It's almost as if he has aged. But elves do not age, because they are immortal. Oh. I'm here to enjoy the film. Maybe criticize it in some manner. But yes. Oh, that's an ent. And that's an enting. Definitely an ent and an enting. Entings are small ents, you know. Maybe it was Treebeard. How the hell is she gonna swim back? You don't plan on swimming back, Galadriel. This doesn't make any sense. It's Jesus. Okay, there appears to be... The film is okay. First episode is alright. But some of the things aren't very lore accurate. One of the main ones would have to be Galadriel hunting for Sauron. And why she's hunting Sauron. In this first episode, it is shown that Finrod was hunting for Sauron when he was not hunting for Sauron. The reason why he died in the first place was he wrestled with a werewolf on the Isle of Werewolves tower in Garhot. The reason why he was there in the first place was he was actually helping Beren on his quest for the Silmarils. That's how he died. He didn't necessarily die by the hands of Sauron, but by a werewolf. And Elrond being a politician is very unlikely. I don't think there's necessarily no politics in... I wouldn't say there's no politics in Tolkien's writing. I mean, there is, but not that kind of politics, you know. Not sure what I'm saying here, but Elrond was not a politician. He is a lore master of his people. He is a leader of his people. One of the leaders, one of the chieftains, you could say. What else did I find in this film? The elves are... Well, the looks of the elves are not really lore accurate. Some of their hairstyles are, at least. They have long hair like I do. Like this. It's long hair. Down until over here. Pointy ears, long hair. But I don't think that should be a problem anyway. Again, it's an adaptation, right? Amazon purchased the rights to Tolkien's Second Age, which is this one. But again, the least they could do is be more accurate when it comes to actually writing this one, turning it into an adaptation film. It's not really faithful to fans of the book series, such as I am. I have become enamored by Tolkien's writing, and it's not really good when they're turning it into this, whatever this is. Not that it's bad. I'd give it a 3 out of 10. That's a 3 out of 10 for me on the first episode. But you know what? I'm gonna react to the second episode, and after that, until this whole thing is finished, and see where it goes. Maybe it ends well, maybe not, we'll see. But as a person who have personally read the books, think most people who have read the books already know how this thing ends. But we just want a faithful adaptation to the books. I think that's why most people who have reviewed this adaptation is giving it a no. I'd give it a chance, but still, please be more faithful to the books. That'd be great. Okay, I suppose that's it. Maybe I will be recording episode 2 as well. I mean, I even have to install Firefox on my browser just to record this. But anyway, that's about it. See ya.